The Broncos are going to, we think, have money saved once they don't have to pay Peyton as much.
Right.
Where do you think they would most likely use that money?
Well, I'll just go their primary need here, guys. Their primary need is right tackle. But I think they're going to draft that guy, so he won't be that expensive. Because apparently the free agent market at right tackle, in other words, I think they might, it's my idea that they get someone like, oh, sorry about that. I forgot I was wearing a microphone, guys.
Like a Bulaga?
No, Bulaga would be too much. Like a Tyler Columbus.
Yeah, you can get him
or
reasonable.
His name's not Derek Newton from Houston, who was with Kubiak a couple of years.
I mentioned
and then you draft the
number
#1 guy behind him, because even Clady guys, Clady better pick it up this next year, because they might need another tackle next year. So they might draft I think they draft a tackle in the first round this year. They get a Tyler Columbus, one of those type of guys, to kind of help groom the kid, and then maybe next year. Clady really has to pick it up or take a cut.
You're not mentioning Schofield, who was a relatively high draft pick last year.
Right. Schofield.
No shot at starting at right tackle?
Not starting. A shot at contributing. Get him on the field first.
Well,
he didn't get him a uniform first.
We're bouncing around on that, but I've heard since the season ended that another reason that John Fox, and I believe this is a true story, because I'm going to back into this. John Elway told me middle of last season when I talked to him about the receiving corps, he said, this is the best we ever had, and I can't even get my guy on the field. And he didn't say it with a sense of humor. He was saying it, I can't get my guy on. Latimer on the field. And the next game, Latimer was dressed out. He was not inactive for the first time. He didn't do much the entire season. I believe that one of the issues between John Elway and John Fox is John Elway wanted to get his, you talked about yesterday, wanted to get his draft choices on the field.
That was an issue. That was an issue. But that's an issue with every GM and coach.
Yeah.
Baseball, football, that's always an issue. Bringing along the young guys.
But I'm going to throw some names at you, and you brought up one of them that I would like to see them go after. Beluga. You mentioned Derek Newton, who played under Kubiak and this group in Houston. There is Iopata. Am I saying?
Iapudi.
I can't say that.
That's all right. It's not easy.
He's a road grader, guard.
A left guard.
Yes.
So you could fill in the left guard. If you got those two offensive linemen out of that group I just talked about, or Columbus, who was originally in the Broncos camp and got cut.
Actually, rather than guard, look at, I think this is accurate. Rodney Hudson with the Chiefs might be their top, more than a right guard. Up front, if Rodney Hudson would be a guy you introduce in the team auditorium. You know, Derek Newton you introduce in the press room.
Yeah.
Well, you're also hurting a division rival if you pick up.
Well, and you go the other way. There's a pretty good guy that played for the Oakland Raiders at center for 5 years that they've let go.
Wisniewski.
He's number 2 on many boards. He
so
might be.
Those two guys. I mean, if I had my dream team, I would get Iapudi. Is I'm saying it right?
Iapudi. Yeah.
Iapudi, Bulaga, Hudson. Then we could go play ball.
Yeah,
we'll show up for you. And when I say that, I mean we.
Well, why don't you go after Anthony Munoz and John Hanna while you're at it?
I'll tell you who else.
And you're going to need a tight end too, and that's where I think they go Owen Daniels there and draft behind. And again,
or they're bringing in Casey who can play special teams, and you go, well, what does that mean? Well, he can play special teams, H-back, full-back, and he can play tight end. So there's a kind
but he doesn't catch the ball.
Hey, guys, let me just tell you before we go on any further, Papa John's is the official pizza sponsor of the Colorado Avalanche. Every time the Avs win and they score 3 or more goals, you get 50% off. That's 50% off your regular menu price online order the very next day using promo code AVS3 at papajohns.com.